I will try to explain as clearly and compelling manner as possible how important these two issues, the nexus of them, is. I was met with the leaders of the Big Three in Detroit yesterday, and they are committed. They are committed to hybrid, to battery powered, to flex fuels, to all of these things, and that will reduce the greenhouse gas emissions as well as give us far more fuel efficiency. We can do that. If we can develop a battery, and I think the government could be involved in the pure research and development, that would take you, say, 100 miles in a day, I think a lot of Americans would purchase that car. I think a lot of Americans would, and all you had to do was come in at the end of the day and plug that automobile in your garage, or your carport in case of Arizona. So so I think we can do that, and I believe that ethanol works, but I don't think we have to subsidize ethanol. I really don't. I think the market should take care of itself in that area. So we've got these great challenges there. And when you see unrest in parts of the world, and when you see a confrontation of sorts between Iranian boats and American warships in the Straits of Hormuz, where a huge amount of that oil goes through, when you see a attempt by a suicide bomber to destroy a refinery in Saudi Arabia, which would have sent the price of oil skyrocketing, you know that it is a national security requirement. So I just want to mention one issue of the day with you, and that is Cuba. As you know, Fidel Castro announced that he would not remain as president, whatever that means. And I hope that he has the opportunity to meet Karl Marx very soon. But the point is that apparently he's trying to groom his brother Raul. My friends, Raul is worse in many respects than Fidel was. The people of Cuba deserve to have the prisons emptied. They deserve human rights organizations working there, and they deserve free and fair elections. That's our goal for Cuba, not perpetuation of the Fidel Castro regime, and we ought to make it very, very clear that we will not provide aid or assistance until the prisons are emptied of the political prisoners. I met a guy in Miami, by the way, that had been in one of Castro's prisons for 28 years. It's remarkable. He was a political prisoner. Amazing. And the human rights organizations are functioning, and there's free and fair elections. That's when we help the people of Cuba. I'm very worried about people who want to extend aid and assistance now while this regime is in power, and that would help them remain in power. And by the way, unless those things happen, I see no reason whatsoever to sit down and have unconditional talks with Raul Castro. Let me just mention a couple other things with you very quickly. We know the economy has got difficulties. We know that we've got great challenges. You know that far better than I do. You also know that there are companies like ExactTarget that their present plans are to hire an additional 100 people a year, and they'll probably exceed that. Many of you were here at the beginning when ExactTarget had 3, 4, 5, 10 people. I see you nodding your heads, yes. And congratulations on your success. And although these guys take the credit, I know who deserves the credit, and so do they, by the way, at the end of the day. But we have to cut your taxes. We can't raise your taxes in these difficult times. Is there anybody here who says they want to have their taxes raised? Please see me afterwards. But the point is that we need to have tax cuts so that people will be able to keep and invest more of their money. We need to have the corporate tax rate reduced. The United States of America pays the second highest corporate tax rate in the world. Japan, the only one that's higher. There's a thing called the alternate minimum tax. A lot of Americans don't even know about it. It was designed for the wealthiest, very wealthiest few Americans. Now it's creeping down into being having the likelihood of affecting 25 million American families. We have to do a lot of things that makes our tax code simpler, fairer, and understandable. Americans have lost all faith in their tax code, as we all know. Americans had to pay $14 billion last year just to pay somebody to prepare their tax returns, and then they had no confidence that it was correct. There's no living American that I have met that understands all of our tax code in America. So we need to do that. And the other thing we need to do is eliminate wasteful and unnecessary spending. It is out of control in Washington. It's got to stop. And it has dispirited our Republican base because we let spending get out of control. But most importantly, we wasted your tax dollars, and it bred waste and even corruption in Washington, D.C. And I want to assure you, right now that the first earmark bill that comes across my desk as President of the United States, I will veto it and make the people that are responsible for it famous. We will not have it anymore. I won't have it. And we will save your tax dollars. There's a number of lines that I've stolen from Ronald Reagan. One of them is he used to say, "Congress spends money like a drunken sailor, only he never knew a sailor, drunk or sober, with the imagination of Congress." And that's a pretty good line that gets a last
chance. Final week. Listen up. Capital City Ford is liquidating all the inventory of an out-of-business Ford dealer. It must be sold now. Brand new 2008 models, priced for immediate liquidation, plus any and all
to members of Congress. You can't blame him. You can't blame him at all. So we're going to stop it. And my friends, it makes you laugh and it makes you cry. We spent $3 million of your tax dollars a few years ago, Mitch remembers it, to study the DNA of bears in Montana. I don't know if that was a paternity issue or a criminal issue, but obviously we can't do those things. It's your money. It's your money. It's not our money. And we in Washington begin to believe that it's our money and not yours, and how hard you work. The President signed into law 2 massive spending bills in the last 2 years. Both of them combined, there was $35 billion in earmark projects. $35 billion. So instead of having a bridge to nowhere in Alaska, a $233 million bridge to an island with 50 people on it, we could have had a $1,000 tax credit for every child in America. Just think of that. Every child in America could have had a $1,000 tax credit if we hadn't done all that pork barrel and wasteful spending. That's when people begin to get it. When you tell them what we could have done with that money rather than wasteful. And by the way, I don't judge those projects. I don't know if they're good or bad. I just want them to compete. I want them to compete with every other project in America, and the success or failure of it not to be dependent on the power and influence of their elected representatives and seniority of their elected representatives. That's all I'm asking. So let me just say to you, I'll stop it, and I'll make them famous, and you can count on that, and I'll restore trust and confidence in Washington. Let me just say 2 things very quickly. One, our veterans, we're going to have to take care of our veterans and their health care. I'm committed to